Is it harder or is it easier to be in an open relationship? I'll answer that in two parts. The first part is there was this couple who was sitting down with the wife's parents having dinner, and the husband asked his wife, "Hey baby, every time we've eaten here, the loaf of bread is cut off on both ends. I wonder why that is. Do you know why?" The wife replied, "I don't know why. I've actually always only ever done it that way. Let me ask my mom," which was sitting in the same table. "Ma, why do you cut off the sides of the bread when you bake it?" To which the mother replied, "I don't know. Good question. I've always ever only done it that way." And so the husband was really curious and he said, "Well, do you know where you learned it from?" And so the stepmother said, "Well, I learned it from my mom who is sitting in the next room. After dinner, why don't you ask her?" And so the guy was curious, and after dinner, he went over to the next room where his grandmother-in-law was sitting watching television. He asked her, "Hey, ma'am, I'm curious. Every time we've eaten here, the loaf of bread is always cut off on both ends. Why do you cut off both ends of the bread?" To which the grandmother replied, she said, "Son, the reason we do that, the reason I've cooked that way is because when I was growing up, the oven was only this wide. And so we've always had to cut off the bread on both ends in order to fit in the bread to be able to bake it." Is an open relationship harder or is it easier? My answer is it's just different. It's not harder, it's not easier, it's just different. Your understanding of being in a relationship perhaps could be just monogamy, just sexual exclusivity, and perhaps if you're already in an open relationship right now, you're condemned and you're looked down upon by other people and you say, "That's not how you're supposed to do things." Sexual exclusivity is just conventional thinking, just convention. The idea of property did not exist until after 10,000 years ago, after the agricultural revolution. Before that, we were only hunter-gatherers. We only traveled to where food was, and we established territory. But we didn't have property. Since we couldn't have property, we would just move around as humans. Only after the agricultural age would we create property, and just like you own your land, men needed a way for them to know that at least their firstborn child were their own. So they created things like honeymoon, which is the honeymoon, the 30 days, 1 moon, 1 month. The honeymoon was so that the woman was sequestered away from other men, so that when, after marriage, the man did fornicate with her, that she was for sure to have his firstborn child, was his. And they created things like marriage, which is actually just vending off of the woman from property of daddy to property of husband. In fact, if you go to different languages, such as Norwegian, you go back far enough, there will be no difference between husband and master. The second aspect, which I'll answer that question, is that all relationships are fraught with this challenge, and the challenge is communication. You don't get better communication when you're in a monogamous relationship. You also don't get better communication when you're in an open relationship. Communication is a skill you require with every relationship you have, whether it's business, whether it's friends, whether it's negotiation, whether it's open relationship, whether it's closed relationship. Communication is absolutely key, which is why I created the group Quantum Enlightened Advantage, because you tremendously have a quantum advantage with everybody whom communicates subpar. In fact, the average man who see women, who women see as lovers. The average man is so heinous that if you were just 2% above average, you would be one of the best lovers they've had. It's profound. And so you make the distinction. Either you are in a non-open communication relationship, a non-judgmental relationship, a non-adventurous relationship, a non-accepting relationship, or you are in an open relationship, an open communication relationship, where you're free to communicate anything you'd like, your desires with other people, your experiences with other people, without being judged, being accepted for who you are, because humans did not evolve to be monogamous. I'll leave it at that. If you like this video, click the like button, share this video with others, and I would love to hear what you think. What do you think about open relationships? Is it harder or is it easier? Or is it different? Share in the comments below and subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you on the next video.